Good morning, students, and welcome to our e-learning session. And a wonderful topic what we are discussing is about chapter number 20, Disaster Management. And this will be the last lecture for this chapter, Disaster Management. So before we start a new topic, let's take a quick revision. And before the revision, I hope that as this is the first lecture, you have done your prayer, as there is a one supreme power. And in nature, there is a power. So when you pray to Almighty, the positive power will approach you. A wonderful thought what I got today is run when you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, but just never give up. See, the life is like the ride of, giant wheel. Ups and downs, ups and downs. It's a full of ups and downs. So, and it's a full of challenges. Every day you will have a new question. No one knows what will be the question. In this exam, life is like, it's a question paper, and every day you will have a new paper. No one knows what is the syllables. No one knows what type of question will be there. So you have to be ready. But have a faith that God will always do injustice with anyone. So, again now have a look on this thought. Run when you can. जब तक दौड़ सकते हो तब तक दौड़ो. Walk if you have to. जब दौड़ नहीं सकते, to achieve your goal, don't stop there. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk even, crawl. But never give up. दौड़ नहीं सकते तो चलो, चल नहीं सकते तो crawl करो. But just never give up. Life is beautiful, but it's a full of it's a packet of chocolate. It's a box of chocolate. And you will not know what type of chocolate, what essence, what flavor, what color you will get it. So be ready, but never give up. If you want to attain, if you want to fulfill your dream, every day is a new day. Start your day in that positive attitude, with positive thinking, with positive attitude, that you can and definitely you will. The thing is hard work, positive attitude, and the attitude not to give up. And this is how you can fulfill your dream, even your parents, even your friends. As we are the part of the society, we are having responsibility not only towards the family, towards the nation, towards this entire globe also. So be a good citizen, never give up, always have a good attitude towards the life. Always remember, life is the box of chocolate. So, enjoy it. Whatever test you are getting, enjoy it. So, as we are talking about chapter number 20, that is the disaster management. Now, a few definitions, as I told you previously also, you must be very much particular about the definitions. Okay. So, the disaster can be the natural or man-induced. Accident may happen at any time, with anyone. So, we have to be ready. So, if when the question is asked about the disaster, divide the disaster into two parts. That is the man-induced and the natural disaster. Now, let's quickly recall what we have previously discussed. So, types of disaster, as I said, few are the natural, few are man-induced disaster. In natural disaster, as we know, That some can be the predictable forecast, we can make it forecast, or in some not. So natural disaster include the flood, cyclone, tsunami, drought, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, forest fire. In that few the forecast is possible for flood, cyclone, tsunami and drought also. So while it is not possible to forecast earthquake, volcanic eruption, forest fire and so on. Man-induced disasters, so fire, industrial accidents, bomb explosion, riots, terrorist attack, that what we will say is the disaster. In natural disaster we talk about the flood. So when the question is asked about the flood, make it very much clear, start with the introductory part and with the definition. So by the flood we generally mean an extensive land area remaining submerged under the water continuously for the several days. People associate flood with the river. So when the river water overflow its banks and nearby land area comes under the water. Now whenever we talk about any disaster, you must remember do and don't. So points are given, do and don't, keep in mind. Then we talk about the cyclone. In cyclone you have to remember the different name by which it known in the different country. So due to the atmospherical disturbance, a severe storm strikes suddenly. The storms are known as the cyclone in India, hurricane and tornado in USA, typhoon along the coast of China and Japan. Again in this point we will remember do and don't. Then we talk about the earthquake. So an earthquake is generally mean the shaking of the surface of the earth. So due to the tectonic activities in the interior of the earth, the earthquake is felt. The major area are the region with the weaker relief on the surface on the earth. So the probable earthquake region can be identified, but the earthquake cannot be forecast. Now this point you must remember. And as we stay in the high seismological zone, do and don't must remember during the earthquake, after earthquake. Tsunami, here also you have to remember the different names by tsunami is known. So destructive and powerful sea waves are called the tsunami. These are generated at the sea bottom due to the earthquake having the rating of 7 or more in Richter scale, or by the volcanic eruption within sea, or by the large scale landslide on the ocean floor. Tsunami means destructing waves. So this is the another name. So in Japanese language, tsunami occur mostly due to the earthquake on the ocean floor. So these are also known as the oceanic earthquake waves. This waves travels very fast in circular pattern from the place of their origin. In deep sea, these waves are not seen distinctly due to their shorter wave heights, but when they approach a coast and the shallow sea, they turn into the devastating form. So its velocity reduced near the coast but high increase. So this wave surge ahead in form of wall near the sea coast. Again here you have to keep in mind do and don't during and after tsunami. Then we discuss about the drought. So a drought is a highly destructive hazard and leaving the long lasting impact. It is connected with the water and food which are very much needed for the existence of living organism. Problem of drought occur in the region of monsoon climate where the rainfall is irregular and very scanty. Problem of drought occur in the region of monsoon climate. This point you must remember. Where the rainfall is regular and very scanty. This is so because the agriculture crops, food, grains and living organisms depend completely on water. The shortage is created due to the water crisis. Under such a condition, heavy damage is done to agriculture, natural vegetation. Earlier, many people died of the starvation during a drought. So again in drought, and don't we will keep in mind. Then we discuss about the forest fire, jungle aag. So in a few important points, what we have to keep in mind, a forest fire is the fire which occur in the forest that creates the devastation. Except the lightning, all other reasons for forest fires are man-induced. This point you must keep in mind. Then we talk about the man-induced disaster. So those events which take place directly or indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, done by the man, unawareness of ignorance and the failure of human machineries which cause the heavy damage to human life and properties are called the man-induced disaster. In that we talk about the industrial accident, and in that we discuss about Bhopal gas tragedy. 1984, Bhopal, the capital of Madhya Pradesh, Union Carbide, thus you have to keep in mind. The company name Union Carbide, located in Bhopal, year 1984. So this is very like last devastation what India faced in 1984. So this accident, disaster you must remember. What precautions must be taken while if this type of leakage, gas leakage we face? So do and don't, what we have discussed. Another important disease about the disaster what we talk was about the viral diseases. See, since last 2 years we all are facing the COVID pandemic. Here you must be very much clear about the concept of epidemic and pandemic. I explain you this, but still you have to understand that epidemic is when the disease is widespread in the particular area or state or the country, we consider as an epidemic. And why this disease spread in the entire globe, so we consider that disease as a pandemic. So now COVID is a pandemic. So when a large number of people over a much wider area become the victim of any diseases, it is called the epidemic. When the large portion of the area or the city or the state is infected with one particular disease. So when a large number of people over a much wider area become the victim of any disease, it is called the epidemic. People lost their lives due to the diseases. There is a faster increase in the number of patients of viral diseases than the general diseases as virus spread faster. So till today, thousands of people have been victim of diseases like the dengue, Ebola, swine flu, influenza and COVID. Okay. So do and don't. So you must remember the important point. So important step to be safe from the viral disease is to be the vigilant about the infection. People should be acquainted with the reason, result and safety about the diseases through the propaganda and transmission. We must be very much vigilant. Take the anti-disease vaccine. This is also very important point. Arrange for the special separate ward for the patient treatment. Take steps as per the guidelines and the instructions issued by the World Health Organization, that is WHO, an international institution to curb the viral diseases. Then we discuss about the terrorist attack, as not only the India, almost all part of the world, it's a victim of this type of terrorist activity. Terrorist or this terrorist activity do not have any relation with any religion, any region or with any religion. They are not doing any honest work or the pious activity. So we should keep in mind. So we all know that since last decade of the last century, the terrorist activity in the entire world has become the very much wicked. In reality, terrorism does not care for any race, community or the region. They do not, like we associate this terrorist activity with particular religion or with the one particular region, but they do not have any ethics only. Their activity is not pious actually. So it is an enemy of mankind. The immoral destructive acts performed by the person or the group is called the terrorism. Few incidents was given about the 26/11 in the 9th September, America Twin Tower in India. 2 incidents mentioned, even the Uri attack, Pulwama attack, Akshardham, even the Mumbai Hotel Taj. So a different terrorist, India is a victim since many years of this terrorist activities. So what to do actually? Do and don't, that is the important point what you have to keep in mind. So inform the police about any doubtful behavior of any person. This is the important thing. As a citizen, we have to be very much vigilant. Then do not touch any unclaimed things in public places such as a shopping mall, cinemas, garden, religious places. Then cooperate in the security check for the safety reason. Always be helpful. If you rent your house, register it with the nearest police station. This is required under the legal provision. Public places should be well equipped with the CCTV cameras. While traveling in the bus or train, if any person is noticed leaving his luggage behind, inform the responsible authorities immediately. If your neighbor is single, does not mingle with the local people, it's working on computer till late nights, then inform the police about his or her behavior. Inform police about the unclaimed vehicle. So this is the responsibility of citizen. Now what not to do? Do not accept any goods or parcel from any unknown person. Do not rent your house or to unknown person without through the inquiry about him or her. Do not sell your home, mobile phone or vehicle to any unknown person. And we discuss about the riots, that is a danga fasad. So this is the problem is faced by many countries in the world. If we examine the general characteristics of any riots, it's noticed that the most of the person are not aware of its root. Though people are joining this, but they are not aware of the root. So this pressure is the presence of only for crowding or for the imitation. Such a crowd which gather without any common purpose or interest seems to disturb the peace of intentional. They want to just disturb the peace and harmony of the society. So do and don't, again, do not follow, listen the rumors, don't spread the rumors, follow the instruction given by the government or the security agencies. This all are the things. Now the important point what we are discussing is about the traffic problem. It's a traffic problem. Now see, you said, ma'am, we know everything about the traffic. When we were small, since that we are learning the rules of traffic, we learn about the symbols and the sign. But still, not only in India, but number of the countries are facing this traffic problem. Thousands of people are losing their life on the road due to the improper behavior on the road. Okay, so we have seen the vehicle playing a snail speed and very close to each other on the road. Bhavnagar is a small city, but you have seen on the Ahmedabad, Surat, in the Mumbai, the traffic, heavy traffic. For hours and hours you have to be on the road due to the traffic jam. So we have seen the vehicles playing a snail speed, very slow it can move, and very close to each other on the road of the large cities. This situation is called the traffic jam. When the mean of transport come to halt on the road, the traffic problems occur. Such a situation occurs frequently on the busy road on the large cities. The vehicular traffic comes almost to stand still during peak hours of commuting. Now you know, in the office time, in the peak hour, you can see the traffic jam here and there in the big cities. So at such a time, the vehicle's driver, travelers and pedestrians experience the mental stress. It takes time to control the situation or the normalize the vehicular traffic. Smoke from the vehicles and other dirty things create air and the noise pollution. This affects the public hygiene of that region and also the growth of vegetation. This is the side effect actually. Growing urbanization has created the traffic jam problem in the almost all large cities. There is a long queue of vehicles. When those vehicles which undertake the relief work and rescue operations are stranded over the road, people lose their life. Standing 108 ambulance, increase in traffic, negligence of driver and due to the ignorance of understanding the signs and symbol put along the road cause the many accidents every year and many people lose their life. Now, number of symbols are given: bump ahead, slow drive, no horn. But we ignore this type of symbols and warning. And due to this type of ignorance, number of time people will met with an accident and lose their life. Death rate in India is very high due to the accident on the roads. So sometimes a victim of accident may become the invalid permanently. Number of time they lose their life and they become the victim of number of they lose their hand or leg or something, some different physical problem. So heavy traffic cause loss of them as well as the fuel. If timely effective steps are not taken, advanced planning for the traffic management and dedication to observe them are not implemented, then it's going to create risk of lives in the day to follow without any doubt. Now why we are discussing things? See, you are in class 9th, number of the students, most of the students are, you are driving the scooters and the cycle on the road. Yes. So, it is very important to understand the traffic rule. Not to understand only, but to follow also. And if we will follow the rule, if everyone will follow the rule, there will be very less chances to meet with an accident. So now what to do? This is very important point. So what to do? 4-mark question it can be. What to do and what not to do. This can be asked in 4-mark question. So pay your attention. This all rules you know, but still you have to understand. See, develop suburban township near the large cities and connect them effectively by facilitating public transport system. छोटे-छोटे suburban, that is a छोटे-छोटे area विकसित करने चाहिए. So develop the suburban township near the large cities. Suburban छोटे-छोटे जगह है, ठीक है? So develop suburban township near the large city and connect them effectively by facilitating public transport system. Now, tractor should be, separate track should be prepared for the pedestrian and the cyclist, जो चल के जाने वाले हैं और साइकिलिस्ट है उनके लिए अलग रास्ता होना चाहिए. पेडेस्ट्रियन जो है उनके लिए एंड द साइकिलिस्ट. Encroachment on the road must be removed. Vehicles going at very low speed or the vehicle pulled by the man or by the animal should be banned during the peak hours. Pulling rickshaw cycle which is run by the man or the animal cart should be banned during the peak hour as they have very low or the slow speed. Information regarding the traffic rules should be conveyed to the citizen through the educational advertisement and public awareness program. We must be very much vigilant. People going to their job place or business at the same places during the same time should arrange for the carpool instead of going by individual separate vehicle. Sharing के साथ जाना चाहिए. So we can save the fuel also and we can reduce the air and the noise pollution as well. Digging and repairing work along the road should be complete immediately. Now this is the major issue of Gujarat and entire India, like digging and repairing continuously कहीं ना कहीं चलता ही रहता है. So digging and repairing the work along the road should be complete immediately. Tradition should be developed to take out the procession, marriage procession or the religious procession during the lean period hours, that is instead of peak hour or the vehicular traffic. शादी की बारात, कोई जुलूस, सर्कस, religious march, it should be hold in the repair, it should be procession during the lean period only. दोपहर के समय में या तो जब ट्रैफिक कम से कम हो उसी वक्त होना चाहिए. And that peak hours, it not should be in the peak hour or the vehicular traffic. At the time of traffic jam, keep your vehicle in the proper lane. Like someone wants to go in the proper side, we can't give the proper way also. Even the ambulance is coming or the firefighters are coming. So we are standing in such a way कि उनको जाने के हम रास्ता भी नहीं दे सकते. So we should be in the proper lane. In the infrastructure like express highway, observe overbridge, flyover, ring roads and bypass roads should be developed. Ring road, bypass, over bridges. So if we are having that type of facility, so we can reduce the traffic jam problem. Every person going for the job should invariably use the public transport at least once a week. Public transport use करने से एक तो पेट्रोल की बचत, इतने vehicles कम निकलेंगे, so we should use it. Use seat belt while driving a car. Provision of heavy penalty should be made for the driver who are drunk. शराब पी के अगर कोई गाड़ी चला रहा है तो heavy penalize होना चाहिए. What do not have their driving license, who drive recklessly, and for those who violate the traffic rule, they should be punished. What not to do, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. Do not violate the traffic rule. Obviously, always follow the traffic rules. Very old vehicles should not be used, obviously, as they create a more pollution problem. Transportation of goods should not be carried out except the night time and early morning. Truck or tractor or so देर रात को या तो early morning ही निकलने चाहिए. Do not deface the instruction of board, sign or symbol on the road. These are meant for the vehicle drivers. कोई साइन बोर्ड है उसको निकाल नहीं देना चाहिए, खराब नहीं करना चाहिए, as it is for the other drivers. Do not alter the design of the vehicle. अलग अलग नंबर प्लेट और डिजाइन और नहीं करना चाहिए. Do not use cell phone, mobile while driving. Do not drive a vehicle without putting on the seat belt on the or the helmet. Helmet पहनो या तो seat belt. A wayfarer crossing rails or road should not be used earphone or cell phone. गाड़ी पीछे से आवाज कर रही है, आगे से कुछ हो रहा है, but if we are busy with our cell phone or we are using the headphones, so we can't listen it, so it may get possible that we met with an accident. Do not enter into the arguments with the persons who control the traffic regarding their instructions. guardian should not allow their minor child, now this is for us, so guardian should not allow their minor children to drive a vehicle, it is prohibited by law. 16 साल से कम उम्र के बच्चों को नहीं चलाना चाहिए. 16 ईयर में you will get the learning license. Do not join a mob due to your inquisitiveness and obstruct the relief and the safety work at the places of an accident. जहाँ पे एक्सीडेंट हुआ वहाँ पे ताकाजाकी करना, खड़ा हो जाना, मोबाइल वीडियो लेना, you should not do, you should cooperate with them. Okay. So this all are the point, do and don't. This is the important point. Now the main problem or the main point of this chapter is impact of disaster on human life. This is the most IMP question. Impact of disasters on human life. Impact matlab asar. As we talk about different disaster, natural as well as man-induced. But what is the impact on the human life? Sorry, that what we have to discuss. So disaster affect almost everybody. But it is maximum ill effect are felt by the poor and underprivileged people. See, in this COVID situation, we have already discussed that those who are financially capable, we can get the home isolation or in the hospitals, private hospitals. But what about the poor one? Those who are living in the small hut, झोपड़ी में जो रहते हैं, how they will get the isolation? So disaster affect the poor and underprivileged people the most. The effect of disaster can be grouped into 4 categories as under. First is effect on relief. First is a effect on relief. Effect on relief work. Effect on relief. See, there is a heavy damage or the total loss of movable and immovable properties. Infrastructure facility like the road, railway, bridge, electricity, gas, telecommunication facilities are heavily damaged and cannot be restored immediately. Now, एक road टूट गया tsunami में, भूकंप में, flood में, so it can reconstruct in within a few hours. It takes a long time. So loss of fertile agricultural land due to the flood is also a loss which cannot be compensated even after a prolonged time. Then effect on a human life. Second impact कहाँ पे होता है? Effect on human life. Second impact कहाँ पे होगा? On human life. A huge capital has to be created for the rehabilitation. Work after the disaster. लोगों के विस्थापन के लिए और पुनर्स्थापना के लिए बहुत सारा पैसा लगता है. So many people either die due to the disaster or become the permanently handicapped. Health of common citizen Detroit. Those who lost their relatives are an intense trauma or the depressed. It is difficult to bring them out of that trauma. अब जैसे ये COVID situation, those who lose their parents, बच्चे, माँ बाप, भाई बहन, अपने रिलेटिव जिन्होंने गंवाए हैं, तो you can't fulfill that. Yes. So situation of many orphan children and elderly people become the very awkward when their support is lost. Their rehabilitation needs a very intensive efforts. People have to face many difficulty in life. जब कोई disaster आता है, भूकंप है, ज्वालामुखी है, tsunami, drought, flood, terrorist attack or any viral diseases. When any person is losing or lose their parent or family member, उसमें से बाहर निकालना, that is the utmost difficult task. So this is the impact on the lives, human life. एक जो mentally आपको stress मिलेगा, you can't come out in a few days. Then effect on economy. This is also the very challengeable task. Impact or effect on economy. A huge capital, लोगों को स्थापन वापस करने के लिए, रिलीफ वर्क के लिए, सेटलमेंट के लिए huge amount is required. So a huge capital has to be created for the rehabilitation work after a disease or the disaster. It affects the routine development work, obviously. So due to the shortage of capital, the completion of project is delayed. A problem of unemployment emerged till the industrial unit are reactivated. Economy of disaster affected are become the weaker. और देश की, व्यक्ति की, समाज की इकोनॉमी हालत बद से बदतर होती है. This is the effect of this type of disaster, whether it is a natural or whether it is a man-induced disaster. Then comes the social effect of disaster. This is also the major challenge. A social effects. Now see, relief work पे होती है, human life पे, even the economy and the social life. As we are the social animal, we live in the society. So it is having the great effect on the society as well. So the migration of the fleeing away by the people affect the social structure of the area affected by the disaster. Now on 15th of August, in 2021, Taliban attack on the Afghanistan. They captured the Kabul on the 15th of August. Now, lakh of Afghani flew from the Afghanistan. So it is having the great impact on the Afghanistan. जो लोग अफगानिस्तान छोड़ के भागे तो उसकी एक सोशल स्ट्रक्चर पूरा टूट गया अफगानिस्तान का. So migration or the fleeing away by the people affect the social structure of the area affected by the disaster. Social festival and public celebration become the uninteresting compared to the earlier time. Obviously, लोग डर के माहौल में जिंदा होते हैं. So it takes many years to restore the original charm. Social organization become weaker due to the changes in social network. Now see, impact आपको समझ में यहाँ पे आनी चाहिए. This is the most IMP question, huh? Now comes the rehabilitation after disaster. Rehabilitate करना, पुनर्स्थापित करना. Rehabilitation after the Now see, rehabilitate करना मतलब पुनर्स्थापित करना. Once disaster हो गया, natural or man-induced, but life must go on, show must go on. So again we have to come up with the same situation, or we have to modify, we have to accept the changes and we have to move ahead. So at the time of the disaster, first comes of the rescue operation. सबसे पहले क्या होता है? Rescue operation. Followed by the compensation or the relief, and lastly the rehabilitation करना, पुनः लोगों को उसी जगह पे स्थापित करना. So which different according to the disaster. To the disaster, rehabilitation will be in the different manner. So, many buildings have to be reconstructed after an earthquake, flood or cyclone. New employment has to be created after drought. Provision for the farm implement has to be made in agriculture field. After the viral epidemic like COVID, what we are facing, program of mass education and public awareness have to be arranged for the safety in the future. Rehabilitation work has to be carried out under many obstacles since the infrastructure facility are damaged. Rehabilitation भी बहुत मुश्किल से होता है, slowly होता है, as infrastructure facility होती है वो damage हो चुकी होती है. Then it is difficult to rehabilitate the families where there is one or two survivors. Now in this COVID time, number of students, number of children lose their parents. उनके माँ बाप दोनों ही मर चुके हैं. अब उन बच्चों को आगे बढ़ाना, मेन स्ट्रीम में लाना, that is a difficult task. If the survivor of the physiotherapist is not provided timely to the person, psychiatrist उनको अगर psychological treatment नहीं मिले, then not provided timely to the person under the trauma after the witness a disaster, it may bring adverse result. व्यक्ति पागल हो सकता है, negative thinker हो सकता है, so they need a psychiatric treatment as well. So training and employment are necessary to those survivors who become the handicapped permanently. और जो handicap बन रहे हैं उनको help भी ज़रूरत पड़ती है. So thus the rehabilitation work after the disaster is very challenging one. It can be fulfilled only through the proper planning implemented step by steps. So student, this is the entire chapter, a lengthy one but very important. All point you must be knowing only. But here the thing what you have to keep in mind, the first do and don't about all the disasters. Then impact of the disaster on human life. And rehabilitation after the disaster. So as a citizen of this nation, you must give your contribution in rehabilitation after the disaster also. So just write today's homework. Rehabilitation after the disaster, that you have to write. And another point, impact of disaster on this both point you have to write in your special book. Number one, rehabilitation after the disaster. This is the short note. This is a note. Write a note. So, rehabilitation after the disaster and impact of disaster on human life. This is your today's work. In next lecture, we will start another chapter. Till then, take care of yourself. Take a good rest. Study well indeed. Okay? Till then, thank you and Jai Hind.